big. All right, can you hear us? Let us know. I'm going to fix this real quick. No. I think they can hear us then.
Hi, I'm Danny Nightmare.
I'm Gory B Movie.
We're Horror Addicts. Today is St. Patrick's Day. And what's the best horror franchise to watch on St. Patrick's Day other than, it's probably just Leprechaun, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, what was that? Yeah, it's Leprechaun. There's a bunch of crappy other Leprechaun movies out there, but they're not in the franchise. Though there are a couple crappy ones in this franchise as well.
Wow, Dan. We got green beer.
We'll get to that. I think your green beer turned out perfect. I put a little too much in mine.
There's so much green lighting in here, even if it was clear, they'd think it was green. Not that we would lie to you guys. We'd never lie to you guys.
Well, the beer coming
green.
O'Doul's! No, it's not O'Doul's. Mickey's. O'Doul's has no alcohol in it.
Whatever. I got drunk as crap as that when I was a teenager.
Woo. Anyways, we all hope you're enjoying your St. Patrick's Day, drinking some green beers or...
What's your favorite leprechaun-y word?
Me gold?
I like shillelagh.
Oh, shillelagh, yeah.
Shillelagh. It's actually kind of like my name.
I like how we've been watching Charmed, and they usually have leprechauns, and they usually talk about their shillelaghs.
Yeah, and they always go to Paige. Paige. Oh, God, don't... Okay. I apologize to anybody who's Irish. I take it back. I take it all back.
Well, Seamus, who's Irish in WWE, used to have a shillelagh. He used to walk around with it. Fit Finlay used to always have one in wrestling, so it's Hornswoggle, who we'll talk about a little bit later tonight. Cause
I wish we didn't have to.
He had a shillelagh when he was in WWE.
Did you see all your friends here?
Yes, we got Killer Kayla, we got Mr. Flickster, we got We Are the Weirdos Book Club, Ariel, Fangirl.
They're like the Care Bear cousins of the Strange and Unusual Book Club.
Cool. Yeah,
like if we need extra reading done, or like just extra Care Bear stare, they come, and then instead of just doing regular bear noises, they're like roar. Like honestly, the Care Bear cousin episodes were the best.
My Care Bear,
no jokes,
would be just a green beer and just shoot green beer out of my stomach.
Kill a nun. Haunted by Horror. Ariel.
Oh yeah, I got Haunted by Horror.
See, you got all the people here. So guess what I made for you? I actually didn't make this. Somebody else made this, but we're gonna use it, okay?
This is me gold.
Oh no! What happened to it?
It's part of it.
Da-na-na-na.
You're seeing like the middle of it.
I'm gonna fix it.
I'll let the dogs in. They're crying. They want their green beer too.
They want green beer?
No, they don't like it.
You're gonna leave me here all alone?
No, I just let the dogs in. So they stop whining at the door.
Okay, I'm gonna figure this out.
Ariel, I'm glad The Substance won too. It was a really good movie.
It was a really good movie.
I felt bad for Alien Romulus. It was nominated for so many categories.
That happens
never
at,
won a single
all
one.
award shows, though, where something just gets nominated. And I don't like it when I feel like it doesn't win for the right... You know, if it lost out to something worthy, I guess it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes it's like, yeah, but The Substance was really good.
I know, right? Like, xenomorphs are probably one of my all-time favorite creatures of all. Like, they're so awesome. But Sue winning Best Creature, that's fine. She was amazing.
Okay, here we are. We're ready. Blarney is like the Blarney Stone. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like if Kayla and I went to Ireland, we would totally kiss the Blarney Stone.
Shamrock is a cool word, like especially for Shamrock Shake.
Yeah. Oh, dude. We should all go to Ireland.
We should.
Okay, we're doing it. Okay. You're the boss here, dude.
All right, so we're going to start, what, our worst? Are we just going to go in order and put them in
Well,
the
okay, so here's the thing. We've never done one of these tier ones here. So these ones, you basically put it where you want. Like, somebody else made this, so I don't take any credit for the nice titles. But me gold is the best. Yes. Then it could be great. It could be good. It could be okay, meh. And give me back me gold is the worst. And then from there, we can arrange which one's the best.
All right, so we should just go in order of the name.
Do you want to go from first to last or most recent to oldest?
Thank
you, Mr. Flickster.
I mean, let's go from first to last, like the oldest. Let's do that.
Titanic? Is Titanic even a franchise?
No.
You should nominate him next year. We actually met Jonah Ray. The Crypticon. Okay, so which one are we going to start with? The most recent one. Gosh darn it, I'm doing a really bad Irish accent. Stop doing that, Haley. That's really, really offensive. Okay. Leprechaun Returns.
Leprechaun Returns was actually pretty great, if you ask me. I'm going to stick it there because...
I'm going to just drop everything in good, and then we're going to discuss whether it goes up or down. I feel like everything starts at good, and then we'll discuss it. So, I definitely think it is an above-average Leprechaun film. I do not think it gets the love it deserves. Mm-hmm. Here is why. They brought back my boy, Ozzy.
Yeah, Ozzy came back.
Freaking love Ozzy. It's a direct sequel to the first one, which none of them really have a lot of continuity.
They're all technically different leprechauns, except for Back to the Hood.
Well, not technically, because no one's come out and said technically, but there's no real continuity.
They have different origin stories.
They could be different dimensions for all you know.
Still, that's different then.
All right. At any rate, I do think I can't remember the name of the actor who plays Lep, but I think he did a really good job. He didn't just do like a Warwick impression.
No.
He did his own thing, which I liked. It was funny, has great kills in it.
It also makes sense for him to look a little different because of the way that he finally like regenerated from the well and stuff.
Are we going to put it up on the best tier or great?
I'm going to put it at great. It mostly gets to go to great instead of good because I would say it's a good movie, but those kills are phenomenal. I think it even won an Oscar one year for one of the kills.
It did, yeah. I think the only problem with Leprechaun Returns is, it's the problem with a lot of the Leprechaun movies. I've seen all of these movies multiple times, and with the exception of the first one, maybe the third one, they're not super memorable. Yeah. But like Leprechaun 4, like every time I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, that person's in it. And I'm like, you watched this like last year, dude.
Right?
What's up? Thank you, Lyndon Porco. He's fantastic. He's a really good actor.
Mm-hmm.
And the makeup was fantastic too. And considering this was a very low budget, this was a straight to Blu-ray DVD movie. Like they had no budget. And another thing that was really phenomenal about it was the impersonator they got to be Jennifer Aniston's voice because they didn't get her.
Yeah.
You know, obviously.
But she sounds just like her.
She sounds just like her.
I had to, like, go and look that up, like, or wait for the credits to tell me, because I was like, wait a minute. There's no way they got Jennifer Aniston in this. Even for a voiceover. I'm like, they couldn't have. And they didn't, but Jennifer Aniston, you know, started off the franchise, so, Johnny Depp he could have always came back to Nightmare on Elm Street, but no one asked him, so... You never know. He did come
back. He did.
Well, yeah, but I meant, like, he was supposed to come back for
sooner.
New Nightmare.
Oh, did you hear the new, we're just streaming, you don't care, right?
Yeah.
The new news is Charisma Carpenter said she'd be happy to reprise her role on the Buffy reboot.
Sweet.
Which I think they should. I don't care that she was killed off. Like, screw that.
Yeah, I didn't like what they did with her in the end. They did her dirty.
They brought people back in other ways before.
Oh, yeah, there's always a way to bring someone back.
And if they do it, like, multiple dimensions or something, sky's the limit.
I mean, Buffy's a comic book just like any other, like, thing, and comic books can do whatever the hell they want. They can kill anybody off a million times.
So, if you want the whole exhaustive history of the Leprechaun movie and actually get the facts right, which I'll tell you, the director has flat out said mine's the only one that got the facts right. There's a lot of misinformation out there about this movie. Go watch my All the Gory Details video on Leprechaun over on my channel. One of the biggest bits of misinformation gets passed around is that Lucky Charms was going to sue them for having the cereal in there and then for the, FU Lucky Charms line. And it was never an issue. It was never an issue. But a lot of people, and they say, it wasn't for that. They were going to sue them for having the cereal in there. So they put the cereal in there anyway, and then a lot of people say they added the "Fuck You, Lucky Charms" line because they were going to sue them. That is not true. I know you're going to hear that in much bigger channels' reviews. It's not true. The reason why so many people have that bit of information is somebody had it on IMDb, and
it was wrong.
It's been taken down now, but it is wrong.
The main reason why I've never reviewed and don't ever plan to review Leprechaun is because she's already done it perfectly. the creators of the movie have already said so.
And it made me friends with David Price, who was the producer, the director. He said it was fantastic, and then the guy who played Ozzy, Mark Holton, I think. He was so sweet. He said he loved it, so that was really cool.
So for Leprechaun Returns, looks good, sounds good. It's a solid, good movie. C+ probably just movie wise, but those kills are amazing, and the fact that it is just kind of like a good continuity, and they bring back Ozzy. I'm gonna say it should go at great.
I agree.
All right,
Is it just your opinion, or do we get a kind of finagle? Like, if you love it, I hate it, we agree to kind of go in the middle, or?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, we can do that. Make it fair.
Good.
So, if you disagree with something, let me know.
So, automatically, I'm going to dump anything new into 3, and then we decide from there.
Where
just
it goes up or down or stays.
They can't... Oh, wait. No, they can't even see the bottom of the window. Hold on. Well, let's get rid of that temporarily.
Oh, they could until you put the picture there.
I think it's Uh-oh. Yeah. I readjusted the window. You know what? It's not easy being the tech guy.
No, like I said, it's the first time we've ever done this, so it's all good.
I'm figuring it out. That's what I'm doing.
I've never done this. I've seen people do it on their channel, this whole
all right
thing.
So, oh gosh. Woof. Woof.
I feel like this
Your
is going down.
Your girlfriend, bud. Woof.
Right? We're going to... We're talking about Hornswoggle here. Which, to be fair, when I first heard about this movie coming out, and they're like, WWE's making Leprechaun, I'm like, well, See No Evil with Kane was okay. I'm like, the sequel was even better. But I was like, that's fine. And then they're like, Hornswoggle will play him. I'm like, you know, I don't really want anybody other than Warwick Davis playing him, but sure. Why not? Hornswoggle's at least entertaining when he runs around being a little mischief leprechaun. I see it possibly working. Maybe if it's more of a funny comedy, like they lean into it, like some of the other Leprechaun movies, it might be okay. We watched this, and it was hot fucking green vomit.
The reason I hate this, and honestly this turned me off of Hornswoggle, who I never had a problem with him before, but when you watch the special features on the Blu-ray, because I have the set, I did not go out and buy my way to buy that one separately.
Yeah.
I have the set, but if you watch the special features, he's bragging about how he's never seen it. If you're too good to watch the previous films in the franchise that you're starring in, then I do not think that you should be in that franchise. I think if you think you're too good for that franchise, then why the hell are you in the reboot? Like, it really offended me because, you know, I championed the movie Leprechaun as a, you know, that's what I do on my channel primarily, is I take a lot of movies that I think get dismissed, and I try to point out why I think they deserve more respect than they get. And Leprechaun is one of them. Like, Leprechaun is a great movie. I think a lot of the other ones are really fun, but I think Leprechaun is a genuinely good movie. Like, not ironically, not just, you know, beer and pizza movie. I think it's a genuinely good movie. And so I was really offended when he was basically just crapping on them.
Yeah.
Like, he's too good to even watch it.
And he said he doesn't care, like, you're not even going to remember the other guy. We're all going to remember Warwick Davis. So,
Adam, Hornswoggle is a wrestler. I can't remember his actual name. Danny would know.
No, I don't know his real name. I used to, but...
He is a wrestler. That's his wrestling name.
Yeah.
But he is who plays the creature. I don't even want to call him the Leprechaun in Leprechaun Origins.
Looks like a...
So he's the only person aside from Warwick Davis and Lyndon Porco who have been the Leprechaun. So Lyndon Porco was in Leprechaun Returns. He did a fantastic job, very respectful. And then Hornswoggle was in Origins.
And he bragged it up, saying that you're not even going to remember the other guy. He's going to just be so much better. They don't even let him be a leprechaun. He's like a furless cat thing, and he has gold vision. It's so dumb.
Dylan Postel. Thank you, Brandon. So, yeah, I have a whole rant on this on Letterboxd if you follow me on there. But, yeah, I mean, on top of that, like, I know I'm guilty too. You know, I know you're going to be like, pot calling kettle black. But I do really try hard not to do my poor Irish accent on streams. It's just a little fun, but I try not to because I know how much I hate it when people do bad accents of the ones I speak. So, particularly because I know I don't do a very good job of it. But the Irish stereotypes in Leprechaun Origins 2 are also highly offensive. They didn't have anybody who was actually Irish in it. They didn't film it in Ireland. It's really offensive. The plot itself is harmless, and they got his name's Brandon something. He was in Supernatural. He was in Freddy vs. Jason. It's very generic. Mm-hmm. It's fine. He's in it. I mean, they actually, for their main cast, I think they did a good job, and it's not their fault. But the CGI is terrible. There is gold vision, guys.
Gold vision.
Remember Predator? How he could have he had heat vision. Yeah. There's gold vision in this. And on top of that, despite how much they really talk down about the previous Leprechaun movies, especially the first one, they steal a lot of the lines, like "Fuck you, Leprechaun, Lucky Charms." Yeah. So. Brendan Fletcher. Brandon has got my back.
So
what's up?
This was just really disappointing and hot garbage. I say, give me back my gold.
So yeah, like I mean, I'm gonna say that too, just because I mean, I keep saying I mean, quality wise, it's not as bad as something like like Hellraiser Revelations or whatever. But if I honestly think it's worse because at least that movie, one, it had good practical effects, and two, it didn't shit on the previous Hellraiser movies. Like that's what upsets me. You know, I talked about this a lot before, and I think I talked about it recently, like on the Oscars. For those of us who are big horror fans, I think characters like Leprechaun, Freddy, Jason, they become like friends to us. Yeah. And so no matter who's making the new series or the new movie, we go see it because it's been like, it's been a while since I've seen Michael Myers. I want to see Michael Myers. Even if it's terrible, like, he's my boy. Yeah. And, the amount of disrespect they did the character, where they just basically made him a creature, they should have just made this... I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of horror Leprechaun movies, like, not counting the franchise. They should have just made their own Leprechaun movie that had nothing to do with the franchise. But the fact that they thought that they were outdoing the franchise without ever having seen it is really, really off-putting.
And it's called Origins. It's not an origin story. And there's no reason for Hornswoggle to even play the creature because... Honestly, when you see him, there's all these puppeteers and stuff. It might as well just have been a puppet. It didn't actually need to even be him.
Yeah, I agree with Chris Brock. Hornswoggle's brilliant dialogue totally made me forget about Warwick Davis.
Yeah, no, it didn't. It just made me go, why is there this little...
I honestly don't know why they even bothered casting Hornswoggle, because I'm sure he would... I mean, it's WWE making the movie, so maybe they got a discount, but being that he is a celebrity... I'm sure he costs more money than just somebody who's a stunt double. Honestly, there's really no reason...
It couldn't have just been a puppet.
To have an actor. You might need somebody to do the stunts, but he doesn't have any lines.
No. I didn't see any stunts that I could see that needed to be a person.
I feel like there are certain characters... I mean, Don Mancini, whom I love... when he created Chucky, he said that his personality was very much inspired by Freddy Krueger. And I think there's a lot of, like, the Freddy Krueger babies... Yeah. Who are like foul mouthed. We love them because because they're bad type characters that are mouthy, that have the good one liners, like Chucky, and Lep is one of them. Lep is absolutely one of them. I think honestly of that crew, like I just love Lep. I think he honestly,
without that charisma and just being funny, they wouldn't have had as many sequels as they had. That's the reason why we got so many sequels.
If you watch my review, like, I'm on Lep's side. He had something that was his stolen from him. On top of that, it's not even just that he's greedy and that he's materialistic. He doesn't have his powers without his gold. It's the only thing he gives a crap about. I know some people who would be nastier if you took their Funko collection away. So the fact that, he's a little murdery, but he really doesn't know any better. And when you think about how people will crush ants and stuff, something that's a different species, we're a different species than him. Yeah. So I don't think he really thinks too hard about the things that he does to people. He just wants his gold back, and he doesn't understand why it isn't just handed over. It belongs to him.
Or sometimes it's something else, but usually they have something that belongs to
him.
Yeah,
I'm not really talking about the sequels here, because the sequels, there's so many other things, like he gets like brides and stuff.
We'll get to
That's a whole other ball of wax.
So I guess we should go. Yeah, we both agree, right? It's give me back my gold. This is the worst.
Yes.
All right.
It's the worst. Okay, so we're going backwards, right?
Back to the Hood. So when they first made To the Hood with Ice-T, the studio, I guess, was a little upset because
Is Ice-T the one that came to our town? I get Ice-T and Ice Cube mixed up because their names are very, very similar. Is Ice-T the one that was also in Tank Girl?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we like Ice-T.
Yeah, he was also survived the game. So, Ice-T.
The names are very similar. Ooh, hook a girl up with some green bear.
Yeah.
Ice Cube. I adore Kayla so much. I wish Kayla was here.
But anyways, the studio was a little mad that the first one, even though it had Ice-T, and that, they wanted a Leprechaun movie, but they got kind of a crime drama, and we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Wait, can I ask Kayla a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, Kayla. You get me, so I'm going to ask you, but... Okay, is it weird that I think he's really hot in Tank Girl when he's a kangaroo person? And do you also think he's hot when he's a kangaroo person in Tank Girl?
Tank Girl's hot.
She is hot. She is hot. I would say in that movie, neither here nor there, Leprechaun, yeah, she's absolutely the hottest. Then Jet Girl, but then of the kangaroos, the Ice-T one, not the main love interest one.
Tank Girl and Jet Girl are furries, or into furries, I guess.
Kayla, okay, Kayla, we need to bring back our watch parties. We still need to watch Jennifer's Body together, and we need to watch Tank Girl.
Lori Petty.
So good. So good.
So, anyways, what I was saying is the studio was a little upset about the first Leprechaun in the Hood movie because they wanted more of a cheesy leprechaun killing movie when they got kind of this crime drama with Ice-T, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but they just basically straight up and redid it.
Making us bigger.
So they could make it more of a slasher, just straightforward horror movie. And that's this one. And to be honest, I would say maybe it's not quite as good as the first in the Hood, with heart and originality. But it is a little, easier to watch, rewatch value. I get a little less bored watching it.
I will say, I think I like Lep better in Leprechaun Into Hood. That is exactly the title. I am not trying to, do appropriate anybody. That is the title, is in the Hood.
And this is back to the Hood.
It in itself is very much part of this, whole era of horror where I think they finally realized that people who are not just white watch horror movies, and their way of being inclusive was honestly kind of offensive.
Probably.
I mean, it was pretty offensive. But then I also know a lot of people of all colors who love Leprechaun. So, that's a story for another day. But anyway, Leprechaun, I think the character Lep, that's what I call him, Lep, I like his personality better in Leprechaun Into Hood 1. But part 2, I think the characters, as in the human characters, were a lot better. I like our final girl a lot. I also thought that the way that he was defeated in part 2 was really good. I think it's really cool when they use actual leprechaun mythology to defeat him.
Yeah.
And that was really neat. And I actually rooted for her. Whereas, aside from Ice-T, I truly have a hard time remembering a lot of the characters in part 1. There's some frat boy guys.
There's 3 of them. All 3 want to be rappers, and
yeah,
one of them sells his soul.
They're not actually frat boys, but they're kind of that kind of guy.
They're looking to get discovered. They want to be rapper stars and stuff. So they're basically one of them kind of sells out at the end. But it's more of a kind of crime drama. The pacing is just all weird in part 1. Part 2 is quick. It's better for my attention span nowadays, especially with my attention span these days. It's quicker. I get less distracted. I just watch it. I wouldn't say it has the heart and creativity of the first one.
I like Leprechaun rapping.
But it's just
That's in
quick
part 1.
and fast. I still would say probably just okay, meh.
I mean, I would say good.
All right. I'm not going to argue with that.
What do you guys say in the chat? Fine. I guess, I don't know. We're going to talk about all of them, Ariel. Don't worry, girl. I got you.
All right.
Leprechaun versus Chucky. We did a whole fight night on this over on my channel. Honestly, my argument on Leprechaun versus Chucky is one of the reasons I love Leprechaun is also the reason why he would fail. Leprechaun is very much he's like a fish out of water because he's from a different time. I'm talking the first one here. It gets really confusing when you talk about the second ones or third or fourth or whatever. But he's very much a fish out of water, and that is a disadvantage to him. But even in Leprechaun Returns, he's dazzled by things like cell phones and stuff. So he really is at a disadvantage because he does not understand our world, and he does not understand human beings. All he understands is his gold has been taken. He wants it back. He is a murderous little monster, and he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. But Chucky A also has voodoo, and Chucky, I think the reason why he is such an effective killer is mentally, he is still very much human. He understands how humans think. He uses his size and the fact that he's a doll to his advantage to appear like he's not threatening.
I don't think that would work on Leprechaun, though. Like, I don't care. I don't think Leprechaun cares about his size.
I don't think the Leprechaun would understand that it was a living doll. If he pretended to be a doll and waited till Lep got close to him, he could easily just stab him.
I don't think they would kill Leprechaun, though.
Possibly. I mean, but he also the thing is, Chucky's also just a lot, more savvy. I think if Chucky can figure out the whole
I remember when we did
as
this
his
on
mouth
your
thing.
fight night, Leprechaun won, but it was against Chucky and Tiffany, and we ultimately decided that Chucky and Tiffany would fight over the gold and betray each other.
I feel like Chucky, I mean, his studies into voodoo and stuff, he would be able to figure out that you could make Leprechaun swallow a 4-leaf clover to kill him, and I think he would figure it out.
There's worse Leprechaun movies where Cool Duty will tell you that.
I think somewhere in the Voodoo for Dummies book is something about leprechauns, is what I think. And it's going to tell you that he needs to swallow. I mean,
either way, there's probably a Leprechaun for Dummies, or he can sign on to Cool Duty.
I'm not angry if Leprechaun wins, is all I'm saying. But Chucky's my boy, and I just feel like he's smarter.
Anyways, so let's do the Leprechaun in the Hood.
So are we going to leave it at good, or are we going to put it at okay, meh?
I'm fine with either of those.
Fine, I'll put it out. Oh, I keep grabbing the wrong thing. I'm gonna put a little on it. There we go.
Lock it down.
Fine, we can put it at okay, meh, because it is a little forgettable. But, I mean, it's not bad. It ain't bad.
It's just, like I said, it's quick. It's got better pacing, but I don't really care.
All right, what's Adam say? I think the insta-kill thing for leprechauns from mythology is if they swallow D's or... What? I don't know what that stuff is, but I bet Chucky would know, because Chucky's smart.
Is he?
You eat a bag of dicks.
Anyways, let's do In the Hood.
Wow.
Let's pull it up.
D's nuts.
Lick my balls.
Wow.
Lick my balls.
I didn't even get that at first. I'm so slow.
Well, I didn't want to correct you because I figured that's what he was going for.
I knew D's nuts. I didn't know about lick my balls. Fucking Adam is always like opening up my eyes. Is he though?
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, you're supposed to be on my side. Like, really, bro.
I mean, sometimes he is. Sometimes he does some stupid shit.
You know what? We're in your house right now, so I'm going to let it go.
I love Chucky.
All right, let's talk about Leprechaun in the Hood. So the mythology in this one's kind of dumb, but you get Ice-T. He is a quality actor. I think he does a good job. I like Leprechaun rapping. I don't really care for the Leprechaun zombie hose.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of zombie hose.
It's not the greatest thing for women.
It's a little... Yeah.
You know, and I mean, honestly, with both of them, I think they're... If you like them, you like them, but... There was this idea when these movies came out that basically, and this is just my interpretation, with like the Leprechaun in the Hood, like their idea of including black people in their films was to make it like urban or in the hood. Like, I live in a small town. It's not remote. We have people of color here too. So I think that's kind of offensive when they have like these stereotypes like, well, they're black. They must be into rap music and want to be in gangs and stuff.
And I love how that's how Leprechaun went that direction when they started pretty whitewashed in the original cast. But then Killjoy...
You're welcome.
Killjoy was the opposite. He started very urban and against like that, but then it became a little more whitewashed as it went. So
yeah,
it was the opposite of like
and
how
I'm
they
not
crossed.
saying, obviously, there are people in in cities and stuff, but
they should be represented too. I don't know. I don't know how to, like.
They're not all,
I don't feel like I'm the right person to weigh in on that. So.
I agree. I'm not the right person either, but I feel like there was this period of the early 2000s when you had like Busta Rhymes in Halloween, and you had Tyra Banks in Halloween, and
What's
you
her name?
had
Freddy and Jason.
The gal from Destiny's Child. And some of them I really like. I love LL Cool J's character in Halloween H2. I think
he's just a great actor in general. So
he's great.
He could be in
anything
so
that
he wants to be in.
But there was also a lot of these, and it's kind of funny that they went with Leprechaun into Hood. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it kind of makes me think it's basically there was a period of early 2000s blaxploitation.
Yeah.
So it's honestly, it's not much different than the blaxploitation of the 70s.
This came out exactly in 2000.
And so on the one hand, you are getting, black actors, represented in film, and that's good. And that's why a lot of, even black people love the blaxploitation movies. They're not offended by them. Some people are, and they have every right to be. But it was kind of like a second wave of blaxploitation.
Yeah.
I think there was some good in it, just like with any blaxploitation, just because it's representation.
Yeah.
It's just not the greatest representation, and it's very kind of simple. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, at the time, there wasn't much else.
Stereotypical, usually, or like much of a stereotype, however...
And see, that's the thing. Like, Tales from the Hood was a surprise hit. Like, because that's actually genuinely really, really good.
Honestly, if it wouldn't have been a surprise hit, we might not have gotten Leprechaun.
Another example of, I guess, black kids, in an urban environment, because, like, that is a thing, is Attack the Block, which was done really well. I just think these movies are a little stereotypical.
Yeah, they are.
So, again, I'm not black. It's not my place to weigh in. But I do think that holds me back from liking it as much. And then also as a woman, a Leprechaun in the Hood is
one of the horniest he's been.
It's super horny. He's possessing these women to do his will and stuff. So, like, it's not...
I love how they, though, like, I love the behind the scenes where they actually had to teach him how to hit a bong, because he did not know how.
It's kind of sad, because, like, in the original Leprechaun, we have a female hero, and she's kicking ass. Mm-hmm. And then this one, the women are just hoes.
Yeah.
Even Leprechaun into Hood, like, the woman, female, final girl character, she's smart and she's savvy and she's trying to set things right. But we don't have any of that in Leprechaun into Hood. So, absolutely, I understand why it's offensive to a lot of people. It's also, fat phobic. It's also really offensive to people. There's a character in there, I think, if I remember correctly, that's the one where the character who dresses in drag. It's offensive, but this is the
early... And the three main characters aren't that likable.
I don't know if it's the early 2000s, but when this came out, like, that kind of humor...
No, it came out exactly in 2000. 2003 was Back to the Hood.
That's the kind of humor of the time, and it hasn't aged well.
No.
However, I will say, when I rented this from Blockbuster back in the day, I remember I had a good time with it, and now mostly I enjoy,
I had a pretty good time with both of them.
Leprechaun rapping and such.
Getting into that spirit of the green, as we'd say.
And I also know, because I read Warwick Davis's biography, what was his biography called? Size Matters Not. It was really good. And it's really cool when, what's Brocky doing? That's No, that's Brocky. He's cleaning these nuts.
He's cleaning these nuts. Licking the balls.
It's kind of funny because when, I'm giving you like a lot of backstory, I don't know if you guys want, but when Leprechaun happened in his life, he's in his home, and a giant manuscript came through the mail slot. And what had happened behind the scenes is they were making Leprechaun. And they were like, wouldn't it be great if we got the guy from Willow? And they're like, there's no fucking way the guy from Willow is going to do our Leprechaun movie. They're like, we'll just send him the script. And they did. And unfortunately for Warwick Davis, they had just lost their child.
Yeah.
He was born, and he was born with a lot of birth defects, so he died a few days later. So it was hard, obviously. And he thought that what he needed to do then for his family, for him and his wife, was to get them in a different scenery and just to do something different. Plus, he'd never played a villain before, which he thought was really cool. But he thought, hey, we'll go to America. We'll get a change of scenery. This is going to be good for us. And it actually was. Like, I think it was exactly what he needed at the time, based on how he describes it in his biography. And he loves playing a villain because he's widely mostly known for playing Willow.
He's also an Ewok, and they're villains, aren't they?
But he's widely known for playing, like, sweet, lovable characters, and he loves being villainous.
So,
but I don't know. Am I overthinking it? What do you guys think? Do you think Leprechaun Into Hood and Into Hood 2 are offensive, or am I overthinking it? I could just be overthinking it.
I can see why anybody would be offended. I'm not personally offended to it, but I don't, like I said, I think I'm the right person to weigh in. I can understand either way. I'm also going to say okay meh, though, because I feel like the pacing is really off on this. And,
it is really off.
And like I said, it's more of a kind of these gangster drama thing going on, and I don't know, it's just not great for a lot of reasons.
It's weird because the tone's off too, because in the beginning it's very, very jokey, and there are some parts like the old lady, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the movie, it gets a really somber tone, like when his friends die, and you're like, wow, like
And then he just straight up sells his soul so he can...
You haven't seen it, Farpoint? Adam!
He just wants to be a famous
Adam,
rapper.
I actually want to hear your opinion on this, because you would know better than I would. Yeah, he's also in Harry Potter, so yeah, he loves playing a villain, and he actually said the reason he stopped, Warwick Davis, the reason he stopped playing Leprechaun is he does have 2 children, Harrison and Annabelle. And when he stopped playing Leprechaun, they were little kids, and he was just like, I don't want to play this character right now because, I have little children. But maybe when my children are over 19. So Harrison's the youngest, and Harrison turned 19 like 5 years ago.
So we got the Willow show.
Somebody call him. Yeah. Somebody call him and ask him to play Lep. Well, he would have done Willow anyway because it's not scary. Yeah. He just didn't want to do anything that would scare his kids. His daughter was also in that Willow show.
He was also in a movie also called Leprechaun. Has nothing to do with this franchise. It's actually a kid's movie, but...
That's what's so funny about it. So, and that's the thing. I don't think anybody making Leprechaun or Leprechaun in the Hood was trying to be offensive, but I guess I'm just trying to acknowledge that I've seen a lot of reviews on Letterboxd from people who are LGBT, people who are of color, people who are living in a city and they don't like the way it's portrayed. So I guess I factor that into my thing. And absolutely, as a woman, it doesn't really bother me. I'm not, like, I understand that they were trying to do it in good fun. It doesn't super bother me. This Leprechaun, I would like to think that nobody's taking cues on how to treat women from Leprechaun Into Hood. Yeah. So it doesn't really bother me, but I do understand it upsets a lot of people. And so for me, that does make it hinders my enjoyment a little bit.
That's why they're okay, man. Because they're some fun, but... Yeah.
Cloverface isn't acceptable as it now as it was back then. This is true.
Yeah. All right, so what's
honestly, the other thing I would say, too... Oh, also, do we like Leprechaun in the Hood 2 better than Leprechaun in the Hood?
Like I said, I think between them, there's a pretty good movie there, but they both have different problems.
We gotta rank them, though.
That's... Oh, yeah, like on which side?
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think the first one's more memorable, but it is way more offensive. Like the guy who dresses like in...
It's got more creativity, a little more heart of its story.
It's got tea.
It's not your typical, like, horror, little, like, cheesy slasher. That's why they remade it, because they wanted more of that. The studio did anyways. But...
Better Final Girl in Part 2, but I do love Ice-T. And I guess there's so many parts I remember. Like, I remember him smoking out with the old lady. I love that part. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of parts I really love.
The first one, I feel like, is easier. The second one's an easier watch. Like, it's quick, it's fast forward. Like,
also, these are 100% movies you watch when you're high.
Yeah,
not that we did. You know what? We live in a state where it's legal. So, yes, I live in Washington State. It is legal here. I fully condone. If you also live in a state where smoking weed is legal, you know?
It came out in 2000. No state had it legal. I don't care. It might be offensive to the guy that you know that you bought weed from that always told you he's going to make it and he wants you to listen to his rap demo because that's kind of a stereotype that they portray in this movie. But hey, we all know a guy like that. And like I said, I used to buy weed from a guy like that.
I will say, like, reading his biography, some of my favorite parts were from this movie because he really had a good time with Ice-T and everybody in the cast, and he was really nervous that he had a rap because he's a white British guy. So he was like, I'm not equipped to be rapping.
He's already pretending to be Irish.
Ice-T, who obviously is mostly known for his rap, like, helped him and was, like, really sweet to him.
Cop killer, man.
And he was really sweet to him and kind of coached him and stuff. I think he does a really good job. Like, I don't know, Warwick Davis to me just is, like, the best dorky dad ever. And he's just such, I don't know, he's
for the rap alone, I'm going to say we like it more. For the rap alone. Say, yeah. For the rap alone.
I adore him.
I think the second one's better paced and has a better, like, final girl that I care about, but
whatever. I feel like he's more into Hood, too.
He probably is, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have to go, like, figure out the screen time for both of them.
Early 2000s, man. It was a time.
That was high school for me.
It was a time.
I graduated in 2003.
I graduated in 99, and you know what? We did party like it was 1999.
Graduated in 2003 when Leprechaun 2 came. Back to the Hood came out.
And then I waited until...
These were intense stoner years for me. And it wasn't legal.
I honestly, like, I never smoked weed until I was, like, in my 20s.
Yeah.
I was really, like, a good girl.
You are.
That's part of why, like, I think I loved horror movies, because I was like, wait a second. I read a lot. I'm, like... I've never gone on a date before. I would survive these movies.
And there's always exceptions like Leprechaun in the Hood, but I feel like horror has always been very respectful to the females, like gender. Like Final Girls has always been a thing. There's always been strong, powerful women that survive in horror movies, and I think that was a good example for me.
The thing with horror that I think I've always gravitated to is that you actually have women who, without special abilities, I mean, sometimes they do, if you're going to talk about Resident Evil, but a lot of ordinary girls who are able to stand up against sometimes even supernatural threats, and just by being smart. And I think that's always been something that has made me gravitate towards horror.
Don't get me wrong. Horror's had plenty of dumb bimbos that just show their boobs and get killed after, like, screaming for, like, 5 minutes. That happens, too. But there's usually really strong final
I mean, and that's the problem with the only issue I would say I have is the whole male gaze of it. So yes, you don't need to see a girl taking a shower. That's purely for the audience. It has nothing to do with the plot. And I actually don't have a problem with that because I remember being super excited when my brothers and I saw Species because I was like, I had already seen it, and I'm like, dudes, I have little brothers. Yeah. They're not a lot littler than me. Do not, like, hate on me in the comments. They're a year and a half younger than me and 3 years younger than me. They're his age.
One's barely older,
but I was like,
younger.
Guys, there are boobs in this, and I'm a good sister. If I discovered a movie that has boobs in it, I will share it with my younger brothers, because I got their backs, okay? Yeah, so I was totally excited that there was boobs in it. I guess my only issue with it is I wish there was more... female gaze, like more guys in the shower, because being someone who's pan, I like a little of both, but especially for people who just like dudes. Provide. I
mean, it just kind of depends on what you're watching. Sometimes
if Nosferatu can drop dong, anybody can.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There are 80s movies where people drop dongs, usually with a guy, like, getting pranked in the beginning, like he's having sex with a dead body, or they electrocute him while he's naked in the shower or something. Yes. It happens to dudes, too. What up? Dougie Fresh.
It's your boy, Dougie Fresh.
We got both the nuns in the house now.
Kayla's the best nun.
Doug went bowling. Did you win, Doug?
No, it's for dong, too. I want to go bowling.
So that's just how it is. And you don't have to always have, like, soaping their tits, like, just gratuitously for the dudes. Sometimes a bath scene is great because you feel vulnerable when you're in the shower or bath, right? Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street is perfect. You don't see her boobs, but do you know how vulnerable she is with that Freddy claw coming up there between the legs?
I think that's why that scene's effective. I don't even think that's like a male gaze thing. I think we all feel vulnerable when we're naked, and we all feel vulnerable in the bath. That's why Psycho's effective. And I think that's the beginning of the shower scene in horror movies was Psycho, because we are so vulnerable, but it became more of a, it became less of a look how vulnerable she is instead of look how naked she is. Yeah. But you know what movie was fantastic? And it doesn't get enough love. The Slumber Party Massacre remake
Yeah, that was really good.
Fantastic! They
That was
had
actually
this
really good.
very lingering shot on a guy taking a shower, and I'm like, yes, 100%, yes. You don't need to take away the boobs. If the actress is comfortable with it, 100% do it. But yeah, give us more men.
Yeah. But hey,
And I don't even want to say male or female gaze, but I mean, just think that,
I'm gonna go to the original there. The very horned up, like, I guess, lesbian director gaze, because it was very much a male gaze if you think about it, but it was made by a woman. So, but you know, she just wanted to see
a
the
lot of
naked.
it was very tongue in cheek.
Exactly.
But you know, I mean, that's the thing. There are a lot of people who have zero interest in women. And I think they deserve to have sexy scenes in horror too.
We've ranted enough about this, though. Let's go on to Leprechaun 4.
You know what? You invited me here, bitch. If you wanted a straight-up ranking, you should have done it by yourself.
It's a great segue because I feel like Leprechaun 4 is the horniest of all the Leprechaun movies. So let's get there.
It is so horny.
Go to horny jail, Leprechaun 4. Go to horny jail.
Behind-the-scenes story in this, and again, all my behind-the-scenes stories come from his biography, Size Matters Not, which was truly delightful. He loved this one because there is a scene where Lep gets huge.
Yeah.
And so they made a tiny set, and he said it was the first time in his life where he felt like he was really big.
Like he's a kaiju.
You know, like he made a really good show. What was the name of that show he did?
Life is Short.
Life is Short. And it was basically kind of made a joke of the things he puts up with in his daily life. Like when he goes to the supermarket, he will grab a broom. He has no intention of buying the broom, but he uses that to get things off of shelves he can't reach. This is just his freaking life. He had to have the counters like made especially for him and his family in his house, but the world is not meant for little people.
And it's not usually kind.
And yeah, people are
like this
rude.
lady is getting pictures like of taking pictures of him, and he's like, "Oh, you're a fan?" And she's like, "Fan of what?" And it's it's because he's a little person. She's taking pictures of him, and he's like, "Oh." He thought it was because she knew who he was because he's famous and he's in movies and stuff, but no.
But his show is terrific, and yeah, it was a really, really. It's sad in a lot of places just because they lost, I think, if I remember correctly, 2 of their children.
Yeah.
Before they had Harrison and Annabelle. But he is just so full of love. And for his wife and for his children. He's so funny. He's so funny.
He plays a little bit of an asshole in Life is Short, but that's just because it's made by the same people that did The Office, and it was just kind of a character, a version of himself.
Yeah.
But he still plays himself, and he becomes like a lot more likable towards the end of it.
Highly recommend his biography. Definitely check it out. And I think because of him, like there are 2 different kind of stances on acting for little people. Little people oftentimes get roles like leprechauns. And so there are people like Peter Dinklage who flat out refuses to do anything like that. He just considers it to be beneath him. And I think he is doing a lot to have little people seen as people and not just little people. To get them seen and respected as actors. But I mean, even then he did fucking Tiptoes, which what the fuck, Peter?
Tiptoes.
What the fuck, Peter? That movie was garbage. Woof.
His character was cool, but the rest of the movie, no.
It was highly offensive to little people.
Yeah.
But
Gary Oldman, come on, man.
On the other hand, like these Leprechaun movies have been a source of joy for Warwick Davis. And just like Willow, I think they have made people take an interest in him and see him and, celebrate his work.
And I think this is a great role for him. I don't like it to be where that's the only type of role a little person can get. I think they should be able to have more.
I don't think so either. But
I
he
do
does
think
have
they
a
should get
role
roles
in this.
Yeah.
And as a little person, he says that villain roles never come across his desk. He has, unfortunately, and they make a joke about this in his show Life is Short because he's a casting agent for little people. He has a casting agency. But there's not a lot of great parts. Like he said that he got a lot of hate from the other little people on Willow because he had this really, really meaty good part. And most everybody else was just in the background.
You don't hardly ever get to be the titular character that saves the day.
Yeah. And so in the little people community, he's gotten a fair amount of hate from people who, just don't understand why he's so special. But he is a very good actor. And I think for him, the opportunity to play a villain and, to wear all the makeup and stuff, like it's been really good. He has a great relationship with the makeup artist who did the first 4 films. Garrett, gosh, I can't remember his name, but great makeup artist.
They slightly changed his outfit each time.
Yeah, and like so much of the stuff he did himself. Like he's also a terrific roller skater. When he did Star Wars, he was roller skating all over the lot. He's so good at roller skating. And so in Leprechaun 1, that's actually him roller skating.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, Connie.
4. Leprechaun goes to space.
I'm so like off with all the fun facts of Leprechaun.
That's fine. I'm glad you have all these fun facts. Leprechaun 4 takes place in space. He's going to make a space princess marry him. But, first of all, these space marines, like, find a dead corpse, and one of them decides to piss on it, and it happened to be in the leprechaun's corpse. So the leprechaun goes up his pee stream, and then reborns out of it. Do that. Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, is reborn out of the dude. Like, why
did Willow terrify you? It's so wholesome.
Oh, those cool, like...
That makes sense.
No, the pig scene and the cool, when those, like, the trolls, and the trolls turn into the dragons. Oh, man, I remember the first time I saw Willow, I was living at the drive-in, but I saw it on top of my car, my dad's truck or whatever, and I was just, like, watching it. No, actually, it was before I lived there. I saw it on my mom's car, but it was at the same drive-in I lived in. But, yeah, I just remember, like, being really creepy, and I didn't want to, like, fall off the car hood, but I was just, like, saw these giant dragons, and I was, like, terrified.
I just love Willow so much. I think the reason why he's such an iconic character is... he never considers that he can't do it. He has a family. Mm-hmm. He has a lot that he's putting at risk, but because he knows it's the right thing to do to protect that baby, he goes through all this stuff, and he's not the biggest or the strongest, but he does it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. I feel like the show kind of dropped the ball. It was all right, but compared to the movie, it's nothing. Connie, in the house! Yeah, you always piss on corpses. Well, that might happen to you someday.
There's a few Leprechaun movies that didn't happen. One of them was, it came down to Leprechaun in the Hood, or basically a Leprechaun at the White House. They went Leprechaun in the Hood, because, they looked at, like...
Yeah, checking the White House, though.
That's true. But they did think about doing that, and one that Warwick has always wanted to do is a kind of a back-in-time one of Lep during the Gold Rush. And I think that's fantastic.
Why didn't they do more back in the time ones?
I wish they would listen to him. He also would love to do a pirate type Lep movie.
These also, like I said, almost all these Hood and Back to the Hood, that's the same Leprechaun. Returns and the original, those are definitely the straightforward sequels. But every other one is up in the air of what they are. They all have different origins, and sometimes you do get to see a little bit back in time, like the 1700s or whatever, but it's only for, like, the flashbacks, and it always takes place in a modern day. Or in this case, in the future, possibly in a different dimension where there's space princesses. So, it's like Star Wars stuff here. You're my only hope, Leprechaun. So, I don't know, it's very pervy. It's got some fun kills, though. It's got a giant leprechaun who gets sucked out of an air vent.
It's got What's-His-Butt, who was in Scooby-Doo. And he's also in Jason 5? What is his name? That guy's hilarious.
Look it up.
Uh-oh.
Pop quiz, hotshot.
Eat my butt, Dan. Like, I have time for your nonsense. Scooby-Doo, as in the movie. That guy's so funny. Purple.
2002.
It's a fall color. It's the middle of May.
Well, it ain't Freddie Prinze.
Obviously, Daniel. Jeez.
Linda Carly.
It's one of the smaller characters in that. Maybe I should have just gone with Leprechaun 4.
Yeah.
Gosh, he's in so many horror movies, though. I wish I remembered his name. I really should remember his name. That's why we're looking it up, because he's so funny, though. Like, his comic timing is chef's kiss. He's the best part of the movie. I'm going past all the people in the movie. Warwick.
Guy Center was actually really good in that, too. He's the evil scientist.
Oh,
I love when he like, becomes like he's like this weird cyborg at the end. It was like, I don't know, a pretty good reveal. Not obviously not on the levels of Alien cyborg reveal, but pretty damn good.
That's That's him. That's him. Miguel. Wait, is that him? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miguel Nunes. He's in Friday the 13th Part 4. Part 4? 5. Yes, he's in Part 5. And I swear I'm not making this shit up.
I'm not saying you are.
You think I'm making this stuff
No, I'm
up?
not.
I'm not making this shit up. We're gonna go back in time.
There's just a big gap between Scooby-Doo and...
I will punch you in your face.
Friday the 13th Part 5 was the first one I ever saw.
There. Yeah, he plays Demon. Remember, he's like pooping and singing to his girlfriend and them damn enchiladas. And then he's in Return of the Living Dead. He's so good. He's in that. Return of the Living Dead. Leprechaun 4. I feel like there was another one.
Oh, he swears so much in Return of the Living Dead. Like,
So
I used to
good.
play a drinking game. Every time he swore, you take
He's
a drink.
so good.
You
And I
get so
feel bad
drunk.
I never remember his name. Miguel A. Nunes Jr.
Anyways, he's in Part 4. He's cool.
Yeah, he is in that.
There you go. Yeah, Joanna Man, where he's a basketball player.
Anyway, he's terrific. Unfortunately, he's a small part in Leprechaun 4. I really wasn't into the main characters in Leprechaun 4. There's the whole thing with the princess. And I've seen this movie, I don't know, at least 8 times. And I can never remember the flippin' plot. I really hate the part where they do the lightsabers.
Well, yeah. But I like how the princess turns out she's pretty evil, too. Like, at first you think, oh, she's... Like, this evil leprechaun's got this princess bride, but then she's actually evil.
I'm going to say it's man.
Yeah, it's meh. Like,
Give me more beer.
Well, it's weird because the categories we
What
got
are we
here.
drinking? Mickey's?
Yeah, Mickey's.
Malt liqueur. They're in tiny bottles. I
Green
love
bottles.
tiny bottles.
Little green bottles.
Guys, let me know in the chat if I get a little too tipsy and need to be removed from the stream.
Like, the categories, like, I don't know if I'd call it meh, but it's certainly not good. But go ahead and put it in okay.
I'm going to put it in meh.
Okay, meh.
Do we like it more or less than the In the Hood?
I do like it more than Hood, because it's just so off the wall silly that I do actually enjoy it.
Like here?
It's not a good movie, but I do kind of like it.
I kind of like Leprechaun Into Hood better. But again, I have a hard time because I know that it really deeply offends a lot of people.
Okay.
That makes me sad.
Even though I just gave you a little
It makes me
tiny
so
drop,
sad.
I think that's going to be too much green.
Oh my gosh, just put the beer in it.
Yeah, that's going to be too much green.
Anyway, Adam, you will let me know if I'm like embarrassingly inebriated.
Hold
One
on, that's too
time,
much head.
y'all haven't seen this in a while, but one time we did a stream, and I'm over 40. I should be more responsible. But one time we did a stream where we did like a...
You weren't over 40 when we did it.
No, we were in our 30s. We did like a truth or dare when we were letting people pick the punishments. I think it was for one of the wrestling ones, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember. But
It was on your channel, actually.
Yeah, I let Danny wax off my eyebrow like with a strip.
I didn't come up with the idea.
It was so bad. We just deleted that stream.
Did we?
I did because people don't need to see that.
All right, so let's bust out the
Anyway,
Leprechaun 3.
Adam, you got my back, right?
Leprechaun 3, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, Leprechaun 3! Leprechaun in Vegas!
Put it in the middle. I have a feeling we'll move it, though.
Okay, this one's so good.
Yes, this
It's
one.
got... Okay, one, I love Leprechaun when he wears costumes.
Also, yeah, he dresses like Little Elvis. Also, there's a were-leprechaun in this movie. A werewolf leprechaun, basically. This kid gets bit by Lep, and then he turns into a leprechaun.
Oh my gosh, that's the best.
Yes.
I have these little Lep pins, too.
If you
from
have
Part 3.
Leprechaun in this one, if you have Leprechaun's coin, you can use it to make wishes.
Strange Monkey!
What up, Strange Monkey?
Where's Strange Monkey at? Oh, there he is.
He's right there. Being awesome.
I
always.
like part 3.
Great job with the
Part 3
Oscars.
is one of
Appreciate
the
it.
most fun.
Oh, it's hilariously fun.
You've got Stretch from Texas Chainsaw 2, Catherine.
Don't hit my name.
What's her name?
Well, what is it? I don't know.
Catherine.
She's from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, mostly. And she
Oh
was
my gosh.
also in The Devil's Rejects.
We know her name, Dan. Ugh, you're the worst.
What are you looking up? There we
This
go.
Caroline Williams. Not Catherine. Caroline.
Well, that's where you threw me off. I was trying to think of a
You're
Catherine.
thrown off.
Ronnie interviewed her. It's on the channel.
I adore her. I adore her so much. She's in this. The main characters are fine. I like when the whirly blades, like he thinks they're boobies, but they're whirly sauce.
No, that's part 2.
Wait, no, you're right.
That's
oh
part
gosh.
2.
But there is Psychic Leprechaun.
Though,
Remember when he was
Caroline Williams,
he has like the big hat and he's like on the like 1-900 number?
The funny thing is they make Caroline Williams wear like this stuff to make her look older and like
They
not
try to
hot.
say that she's fat and she's not fat.
They try to make like her wear like old makeup and make her look like her boobs aren't
Whatever.
great. But
Caroline
then, like,
Williams can get it.
Then like,
she can get it today.
She makes the wish and then she looks like just normal Caroline
What
Williams,
was the good
which
one,
is
Ariel?
hot. But then
Tell
like
me.
her boobs get super big, her lips and her butt, and they all explode. It's hilarious.
It was so funny. I really enjoyed it. I liked the Were Leprechaun element of it. I get it mixed up because the guy who becomes the Were Leprechaun, he does remind me of the guy in part 2 a lot.
Yeah, similar.
They have similar personalities, but I love part 3, and I think the biggest reason is because Lep really does take center stage in part 3.
Oh yeah.
And yes, I love all the characters. I love Caroline Williams. It's just fun. It's really fun, and I do think. I mean, honestly, I think it's aged fine.
They change up the mythology a little bit. Like I said, now if you have a coin, you can make wishes. He's more of a genie, but I don't care. It was like they finally let him be like the main character a lot more. Where there's in part 1 and 2, I feel like the final, like the humans are a little bit more of front stage. Where this one, they're like, no, people are going to see this to see the Leprechaun. That's all they want to see. So just give him more screen time.
I feel like, I mean, because I honestly think. Like, no joke here. If you see my review, I firmly believe The Leprechaun is a good movie. I do not know why it gets classed as like a B movie or even a C movie. I think it's a great movie.
Me too.
I honestly think it deserves to be, up there with the other ones.
Evil Dead 2 is considered a B movie. It's my favorite movie of all time. So.
That one gets a lot of respect, though.
Yeah,
Leprechaun
but it's still
does not.
considered a B movie.
However, Leprechaun 3 is, I think, what people thought they were getting with Leprechaun 1. It's just fun. It's so fun. It's harmless fun. It's fun from beginning to end. It's perfectly paced. It's ridiculous. The effects are mwah, chef's kiss. We love it. I mean, honestly, the only real, like, stereotypes or anything are just, like, Vegas stereotypes. I'm not from Vegas. I don't know how they feel about that stuff. But I love the whole Elvis thing and yeah, I just love it.
These greedy humans are all fighting over for a magic coin that can grant wishes, but it's always their downfall, so it's kind of like they're just getting what they deserve anyways.
And yeah, I mean, it kind of almost becomes like a Wishmaster movie.
Yeah, like I said, he's like a genie in this one more than anything.
But, I mean, I think that fits with the lore.
Yeah.
Because leprechauns do grant wishes.
Yeah, they do. If you to get their gold back or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm going to say great.
I'm going to say great, too.
I think that one was a great movie. Alright, so Leprechaun 2. Sadly, this one's a little more forgettable than 3, if you ask me. They're finally kind of in a more urban city, but it's not like a big city.
I kind of feel like Leprechaun into Hood should be good.
I don't know. We'll get back to that later. So Leprechaun 2.
If you guys are disagreeing with our ranking, tell us.
It's more like Leprechaun.
Also, Ariel, look, I did green eyeshadow. What do you think?
Not a Vegas big city, but like, the suburbs, kind of big city. There's a guy who's taking people on tours.
Yeah, and it's got Clint Howard. Clint flippin' Howard. I adore him. Ice Cream Man. We love him.
He doesn't have a huge part in this movie, but he's trying to take the tour. The guy's like...
Adam, you're the best. I adore you.
It's kind of like the Greasy Strangler, where the tours seem like they're made up bullshit anyways. But, like, I guess... So it's... What? Hollywood?
It's like they're in Hollywood, but I can't remember specifically what the tour was for.
Yeah, I think it was just like...
But they go in a limo.
Stars.
No, it's not a limo. It's a hearse.
Yeah, it's a hearse.
It's some kind of like a goth type.
A horror movie tour. Like, kind of what Ronnie does. Our friend
basically.
Our friend Ronnie Angel, he does these horror tours for people. So, anyways, one of them finds out how to, like, they get the leprechaun, his gold and stuff. He wants his gold back. They lock him up in a safe, which is made out of iron, but he manages to find a way out.
So this one they completely ignored the first movie. So they go with fairy rules.
Mm-hmm.
So fairies have an...
Iron allergy.
They are vulnerable to iron.
Yeah.
But that's completely not in the first movie. They completely remade the mythology. And then they have this whole thing where, like, I think if you sneeze 3 times, is it 3 times? Correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, then that means you're betrothed to a leprechaun.
Yeah.
And this poor lady, she gets betrothed to a leprechaun, and he's kind of gross.
He's a little horny in this one. He's got this weird inside tree lair where he keeps women and he wants to, like,
and
make
it
you his
looks
bride.
terrible. It looks like a shitty, like, set. It looks bad.
It's supposed to be the
Honestly,
inside of a tree.
I know a lot of people love this one, and I do love the saw boobs. The saw boobs is where it's at.
The lawnmower with the 2
Clint
blades.
Howard, but this is not one of my favorites. I like the Hood ones and 4 better than this.
I strongly disagree on that. I feel like it's a good movie, but it's just not great.
Are you saying that because it's part 2? Because I just feel like it's not that good.
I think Warwick Davis does a great job in this one.
I agree with that.
And I feel the saw boobs is one of the best kills in the whole
I
franchise.
like the saw boobs. So if you guys haven't seen this, essentially this guy, he thinks he's looking at some, like, pretty amazing boobs. And so he's, like, drawn closer to said boobs. But they're actually, like, lawnmower saws.
I would say good because this was a solid watch. It still is. I don't mind ever watching it. I feel like after 3, though, they become a little bit of a chore to get through. This one is not a chore for me. It's just good. It's kind of like 3 stars. It's okay.
And I will say, again, Leprechaun trivia, I'm so sorry to be that guy who has all the fun facts, but Leprechaun 2 was the last one released in the cinema.
Yeah, I saw it. Well, no, I didn't see it in the theater. I wish I did. I remember seeing the poster at the theater, but unfortunately this was at the...
Unfortunately, this one did not do well in cinemas.
No, that's why they all went straight to video afterwards.
I mean, if I were to guess, I think it is a little more mean-spirited than the first one, which it's so strange that the first one did so well, because the first one is so wholesome. It's so wholesome, but then it's mixed with these gory kills, like the pogo stick thing and stuff. But I think, honestly, Leprechaun, for him, violence is every day. It's not a big deal, and he needs to get his coins back. So the violence doesn't really alarm him, but then you also have this really sweet friendship between Ozzy and the little boy.
That's exactly why the first one was
You have the
wholesome.
growing relationship between Jennifer Aniston's character and the neighbor.
And they didn't know that they had Jennifer Aniston at the time because she was undiscovered, pretty much. But they had Jennifer Aniston in the first one. But this one, nobody superly comes out of it other than Clint Howard. I can't really think of a name in this movie.
There's a wholesomeness to that first movie. We'll talk about that more in a
This one is definitely a darker feel to it. It's like, oh, we're going to make him scarier. It is, I guess... I don't really think any of the Leprechaun movies are straight up super scary, to be honest, but this is one of the darker, scarier ones.
Origins is scary and how bad it is.
Yeah. So I would say, as far as Leprechaun movies go, it's one of the scarier movies. I wouldn't say it's super scary.
What's your favorite Leprechaun movie?
Oh, no.
I smashed his little head against the keyboard.
He's okay.
He'll be fine.
Anyways, I'm going to say good, though. I feel like it is a solid movie. It just doesn't stand out, doesn't fall down.
We're in your house.
I mean, if you have a strong argument otherwise, it's fine.
I think the sets are garbage. I think the main characters are forgettable. I don't like horny Lep.
He's still great, though, as Leprechaun. It's mostly, and even though he's a little horny in this one, in 4 and in the Hood, he's horny. This one, he just wants to get married.
He has a few more memorable
He wants to get
moments.
married.
That's so weird.
He says marriage.
What the flip, Lep?
He wants to get married in this one. He's,
marriage.
So, okay, the first one. Come on.
The first one is so good. I'm putting Amy Gold the best.
I know.
I'm
not going to argue. That's where I was going to tell you to put it.
I did a whole lengthy video on this one that I researched the butt out of.
Yes.
Over on my channel, Gory B Movie.
The best review of the said movie.
That the director says is the best review. I'm just going to throw that in there because, he's the director.
Someone was talking about Andy earlier. Andy is amazing. We agree. I would say Dr. Wolfield and anybody else that has a review of this is really good and entertaining. But and I'm not just being biased. I'm saying it because the creators of the movie told me themselves that Gory did the best job of the facts. It's just because there's a lot of
misinformation out there, and a lot of people get their information from IMDb, and until it was corrected, a lot of misinformation got spread.
Yeah.
But there's so many things to love about this first movie, and I really think it's a shame that a lot of people kind of write it off as just like, cheesy trash or a B movie. I think it's every bit as good as a lot of the other horror movies from the era.
And some people had to have agreed because it did good enough that the sequel got to be in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Part 2 did not perform as well, so therefore they were all straight to video after that. But this one was good enough to where they were confident enough to put Part 2 in theaters.
And with Leprechaun, the director, he was also inspired a bit by Freddy Krueger. That's where the one-liners come from. But I just think there's so many things I love. Like, I love how Lep cannot help but shine shoes if you throw them at him. I fucking think that's the cutest thing ever. That has my heart.
Yeah.
He's just
that's how they shoes. So Jennifer Aniston can make a getaway. They throw all these shoes out there for him to shine.
I love the part where he's like, he's so playful and he's so cute. Like when he's on the skateboard and stuff, like he's truly just having a good time. When
he's in the go-kart.
I don't think he really thinks of human lives as being that big of a deal because he's a leprechaun. It's a different species.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just really having a good time. But particularly since he had his only thing that he cares about stolen from him. He's handling it pretty well.
Yeah. He kills a guy with a pogo stick. He gets pulled over while driving a Power Wheel or a go-kart or something. It's just so many vehicles in this.
The Power Wheel, I think, is part 2.
He gets pulled over by a cop in this one, though.
Oh, yeah, he does. He's in a little car.
Yeah.
And then he's in a go-kart in part 2.
Yeah. There's so many vehicles between the first 2 movies, especially in this one. Most of them
I wish they would do one of those, fancy figures with all the accessories with him, with all his vehicles.
So it's
but
just...
his one-liners are so good, and he's so good at being creepy, but also being kind of lovable. So you root for him, but he is actually kind of scary. There's so many things that are great about this.
And
the wheelchair chase,
yes, there's a wheelchair.
So Warwick Davis was doing his best to go super fast on the wheelchair, but he couldn't go that fast, so they had to speed it up and then slow Jennifer Aniston's running down. And a lot of people think that, Jennifer Aniston is super embarrassed with this movie, and she's come out and said that she's embarrassed because she was so young. Yeah. She was dating What's-His-Butt, who was in Beetlejuice 2. And he put it on, and she was embarrassed, not because it's an old movie or whatever, or because it's a horror movie, but because she's just really young, and it was her first movie. It was the first thing she did, aside from Mac and Me, where she's a background player.
Oh, yeah, Mac and Me.
But she does appreciate that this movie gave her launching pad.
Yeah,
and right after this, she did Friends.
She was a main character in this movie. And
she was surprised. She was so happy when she got this movie because it was her first movie. She got to have a starring role. This was a really big deal to her, and she almost didn't get it. Because originally the casting people, they wanted a blonde California type stereotypical girl. And the director liked her because she was just so personable and so down to earth. And he knew that people would really root for her.
She's got that brunette but kind of reddish tint. And I feel like that was great for a Leprechaun movie to have that.
A lot of people on set, too, just said that they knew that she had something special. That they knew that she was going to go places.
Oh, yeah. So... They got lucky, because you never know who you're going to discover in your movies, and who's going to just give you that star quality performance and go on to do great things.
But yeah, Ozzy, he was in Teen Wolf 2, and he's in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Teen Wolf 2 where he boxes.
Yeah.
So, I like that. Oh yeah, he's Francis. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He was the big name going into it, but Jennifer was the big name coming out of it. So, I love Leprechaun. I think it's a really good movie. It does get sometimes a little, down on the tier of overall, iconic horror characters. I think it should get a little more love than that. So, definitely I could say, me gold, this is deservingly of the best. No surprise there. I feel like most people thought we were going to put the first one on the top, but that's just how it was. So Origins can suck it.
Origins can suck it hard. I think our ranking is 1, Returns, 3, 2, 4, In the Hood 2, and then Origins, which can suck it.
Yeah. And they're not a part of the franchise, but I've reviewed some other Leprechaun movies that are all really bad, and they would go down there with the Give Me Back My Gold.
I just wish there was more Leprechaun, as a monster type movies.
Yeah.
And I know they're rebooting Leprechaun. And here's a funny little thing about the Leprechaun franchise is one person who's a massive fan of the franchise is Darren Lynn Bousman, who is probably most famous for doing like Saw 2 through I think 4 or whatever. He loves it. And every year he tweets like, hey, hit me up for the new Leprechaun movie. He really wants to do one. And I know they're in the process of rebooting it. And I think absolutely you could probably get Warwick back because his children are grown. Get Darren Lynn Bousman. Like, get somebody who's passionate about this franchise, who's seen them all and loves them to direct it. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Saw, though, I heard Saw 11 got canceled today or something like that.
Yeah, I heard that recently, too.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I think it was a great St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to switch over to some Irish red beer now that I'm done drinking all my green beer with you guys. Hope you guys have had all a great St. Patrick's Day.
And tell us what your guys' favorite Leprechaun movie is in the chat.
Yeah, I mean...
or your ranking.
Your favorite sequel, if the first one is your favorite movie. Because I feel like most people it probably is. But if it isn't something, then tell us whatever it is.
Of the sequels, Leprechaun Returns is really, really good.
Yeah.
But I think Leprechaun 3 is the most fun. Hence why I have this shirt.
I love
also,
it.
because my mommy gave it to me. My mommy loves me so much.
I feel like Returns was probably the most well-made, but 3 is probably just like my personal favorite just because it's funny.
And if you haven't seen Returns, you need to give it a chance.
Yeah.
Like, definitely check it out. I know it's not Warwick, but it's really good.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it pays good respect to the franchise, unlike Origins, which...
Hi, babies!
Origins is just green poo anyways, so it doesn't matter.
Ew. It's like gold vision poo.
Ew. Fool's poo.
It's not good.
It's fool's poo.
It's not good. But again, if you watched it and you're like, oh, it seems pretty harmless, gory, watch the special features. Like, just the amount of arrogance they have, and just the disrespect for the franchise, for Irish people. It's really bad.
Yeah. It certainly... If it wasn't in this actual franchise, I would probably put it at okay meh. But the fact that it's in this franchise and it disrespects the franchise, like, openly.
And if you enjoyed my fun facts and you want a whole bunch more, check out my exhaustive Leprechaun review over on my channel, Gory B Movie. You just type in Gory B Movie. I don't think anybody else has that name. I
will actually add it to the description below.
The doobly doo?
Yeah, so not only will you find Gory's movie, but you'll find her review.
Why are our dogs so cute? Did you know that Brewster has an Irish accent? It's true.
Does he?
He does. Marty does his voice, and Marty's Irish.
Hmm. Well then. That's true. He has done it. Mm-hmm. And anyways, thanks guys for checking us out and spending your St. Patrick's Day hanging out with us. I really appreciate it.
To all of you.
To all of you. If you haven't watched the Oscars yet somehow, go check it out. The replay is available. There's now time links, so you can skip straight to your favorite presenters.
And you can catch me and Kayla again this Thursday, March 20th, for Strange and Unusual Book Club. It's going to be the very last one on my channel, Gory B Movie, because we have our own channel now for Strange and Unusual Book Club.
You will.
And so, yeah.
It's going to launch, but this is the last one on your current channel.
The last one on my current channel.
Gory B Movie. Check it out.
Yes, I am so excited because I love Fright Night too. I need to do a video on that. That movie's so good.
All right, so where's the clapperboard?
I don't know.
I know where it is.
Go get it.
Get down.
Make me do stuff at St. Patrick's Day.
It's St. Patrick's Day.
I just want to cuddle dogs and drink green beer.
Do we have a Leprechaun Funko?
Yes, I do.
Where did they... Oh.
I think he's down there.
Oh, here he is.
Yeah.
They did make a Leprechaun Funko.
Yeah.
Woo!
Look how sweet he is.
All right. We love gold, we loved green beer, and we love, just hanging out with all y'all. So, cut!